Why is it that people don't want to subscribe for an insurance product? Is it that they don't understand the benefit?
A lot of people find it difficult to believe in insurance, possibly because of their personal experiences, the interactions they have had with insurance companies. Insurance is actually not what they feel it is.
Is it not because sometimes people believe when it comes to claim, people often don't get the claim that they paid for?
Of course, we have had issues where, or instances where some claims are not being paid.
On time?
Not just are not being paid at all.
My phone is 500,000 naira. But in the same house where I live, if I look at the worth of my chair, the worth of my TV, everything comes to about 1.5. If I add it with my phone, which is about 500,000.
That's 2 million.
Give me an idea of what I will need to be paying every year as insurance for those items I've got.
You'll be required to pay
An average Nigerian or African often don't subscribe to insurance. But you listening to me, do you have an insurance product for yourself? Today, we'll be talking about how insurance is quintessential and very important for your personal finance. Hello, Your Excellency. It's the Money Mindset with Razak. How are you? I've got a guest in the house that will be discussing this together. I'm referring to no one but Mr. Frederick. He's an insurance expert. How are you?
Good afternoon, I'm fine.
Good. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So, let's start. Why is it that people don't want to subscribe for an insurance product? Is it that they don't understand the benefit?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Razak. Good afternoon, listeners. My name is Frederick. Razak, you may believe or understand with me that just like you mentioned, a lot of people find it difficult to believe in insurance, possibly because of their personal experiences, the interactions they have had with insurance companies or the insurance sales agents as such. And these are issues based on their personal reasons. But far from what they used to believe or what they still believe to some extent, insurance is actually not what they feel it is.
Is it not because sometimes people believe when it comes to claim, people often don't get the claim that they paid for?
Yes, that is the point where I was trying to. Establish. Yeah, people used to believe that insurance they don't pay claims, but that is very false. Insurance pays claims as claims comes in. Of course, we have had issues or instances where some claims are not being paid
on time.
Not just are not being paid at all.
Okay.
And then some are not being paid on time. I'll explain the reasons to you.
Why?
First, why claims are not being paid at all. Some claims are actually false.
And for those that are genuine?
Then, for those that are genuine, they are being paid. And why they are sometimes delayed, that is the second part of your question. Why they are sometimes delayed is because there are reasons for that. One, if the documentation required for a particular claim to be paid are not there, the insurance company will not pay. For example, if it's a car accident that claims a life, it is required by the law that the person filing the claim brings a police report stating that there was a life lost in the accident. Now, when you cannot bring alongside
evidence or documentation
to substantiate
your claim.
the claim that there was a loss of life, the insurance company may delay But upon the presentation of the complete document, the claims is being paid promptly.
Okay. Now, let's take a pill.
Okay.
I know you watching me right now, you are asking yourself, what is the whole conversation about insurance? The reality is that we know insurance is one of the things that the wealthiest, the wealthy men and women use to actually use in protecting their assets. It's not a rich Ponzi scheme, but the whole game of insurance is to protect an edge. But what many people often know, back to you, Mr. Frederick, is car insurance, HMO, health insurance. What are those other products that a lot of people don't even pay attention to when it comes to insurance products?
All right. Yeah, just like you said, car insurance, HMO, and what other one mentioned are the popular ones people know. But aside from those ones that are very common and people patronize them, there are other products
Tell us.
such as fire,
Fire and theft.
fire and burglary, if
Okay,
you like
one.
you call it. There's life insurance.
That's two.
Then you also have travel insurance.
That's three.
You have money insurance.
Money?
Money insurance.
Wow.
Yes.
That's four.
An insurance that protects your money. Let me put it in a very summary way. Then you have your marine.
That's five for those in that line of business.
Yes, that line of business. In those in engineering, you have engineering, you have a Greek, you have so many others.
Okay, let's talk about some of them.
Okay.
I'm sure somebody will be asking, what's money insurance?
Okay, now this one basically covers if you are a person who moves money from one location
So a lot of.
to another, or you're someone who deals with money and then keeps it maybe in your safe, in your office, in a safe in your office. Then you can now take an insurance policy that protects you, so that by the time you keep the money and go home, if you come back the following day and it happens that someone breaks into the premises and they make away with the money, the insurance company will be able to cover you for that.
Okay.
And then you are someone who moves money from one location to another.
That's money insurance.
There's money insurance.
Let's talk about fire and burglary insurance.
Okay, now, for fire and burglary insurance, every person who owns a house, ordinarily, is not mandatory anywhere, but ordinarily is supposed to have a fire insurance for that building. Now, this protects you against unforeseen circumstances of fire and other devices such as maybe an aeroplane drops on your building, area devices, as the earthquake, storms that could remove your roof and the rest of that. So these things protect you. So if any of this happens, the insurance company will assume the responsibility of reinstating you back to your initial standard before that incident.
So that's fire and theft.
No, this is
For fire and burglary.
Fire and burglary.
Is there anything that covers theft?
Yes. Now, that is where we have it's a combination.
Okay.
You have fire, you have fire and burglary, and then you have that burglary is what you can actually tempt.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because when you say burglary, there has to be like forceful entry. Someone who forcefully enters into your building and then make away with some of your.
So is there property insurance as well for if I maybe the fire and theft now, fire and burglary?
Yes.
Is it for if I don't own the house? Why should I do fire and why should I? And for what's the difference between the person who owns a house, that is who want to insure the whole building,
Yes,
and the someone who want to just insure is just a tenant?
Okay. Now, if you are a tenant, you can do burglary. That is for your building. Someone breaks into your building, into your room, and then make away with your items. You are now going to be compensated for just the items that were stolen in your own building. Your own room. Then the owner of that building can now take fire
as part of what he or she has provided.
For the entire building for his tenants. Not for his tenant, for himself. So if the building gets burnt down, the insurance company will reinstate him. But mind you that at this time, the items are not covered.
Yeah, because he's not the owner of the item.
Not
it's
the,
just
yeah,
the
it's not the
landlord.
owner of the items.
So if I am the owner of, if somebody is a owner of a house and lives in that house,
Yes.
then that means the person should do both fire and theft.
Fire and
burglary.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes. Fire
okay.
and burglary.
Now, before we leave those two,
Yes.
does this cover mobile phones and all of that?
Yes. When you are taking up a fire insurance, fire and burglary insurance, you can actually cover your mobile items. But mobile items when you cover them, it's not only when they are being stolen in your house
Yes.
that are being covered. They are covered even when you move with them on the road. So it means that if we are charging you 1% for fire alone, we'll be charging you like 1.5% because we are going to add your movable items such as computers, jewelries, and other wristwatch and the rest of that.
Because those are movable items.
Yes, these are also movable items.
Okay. So guys, you listening to me, you know that phone in your hand is like the most treasurable asset you've got. You don't even own a car yet, but you know without your phone, it's going to affect the people who are calling you for that small business. I know you might not have a house yet. It's not a crime. We are all on the journey in life. It's a journey. Have you provided or purchased an insurance product so that if that phone lost, you will be able to get something to get this back for you? I know a lot of people do this, but let me come back to you, Frederick.
Yes.
For insurance products, for fire and theft, for example, if I have a house and I have a phone and I have a laptop, let's play some scenario here.
Okay.
My phone is 500,000 naira.
Yes.
But in the same house where I live, if I look at the worth of my chair, the worth of my TV, I'm just a single guy. Maybe I'm not married.
Yes.
Or I'm a single lady, I'm not married. Everything comes to about 1.5. If I add it with my phone, which is about 500,000.
That's 2 million.
2 million.
Yes.
Give me an idea of what I will need to be paying every year as insurance for those items I've got.
All right. Basically, when you are doing household items, that is when you talk about household items, that is when it comes to your chairs.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Movable items. Okay, now, basically, the minimum one can actually pay to have cover. Like in your case now, because I'm going to use your own scenario. You say
I'm using that scenario.
Everything together is 2 million in your house. That's why I'm using your own scenario. Now, you'll be required to pay 1.5% because you are including your movable items. If it was just chairs which are not movable, it would have been 1%. But now you are going to do it with your phones and other items, so it will be 1.5% because the risk involved in carrying phones along the road nowadays is very high.
So how much is 1.5%?
So 1.5% or 2 million, as you rightly cited as scenario, is 30,000 naira.
So will it be 1.5% of the 500,000 for the phone, and then 1% of the 1.5 million for the remaining items, or it will be 1.5%?
No, it can't be like that because the phones. We don't do. Insurance companies will not be willing to do phones alone. So once you bring movable items in, the percentage automatically ceases being 1% to 1.5% automatically. But where you want it to be done on 1%, then you have to move away the movable items, separate them from other things. That will be 1%. But once you say you want to put movable items, it automatically ceases being 1% to 1.5%.
Thank you. Now, if I get this right.
Yes.
You watching right now. If, for example, your phone, your laptop, the things you've got in your house, the chairs, the sofas, your fridge, your TV, everything in your house is 10 million. It means you will only be paying 150,000. If it is 2 million, it's just 30,000 naira. Can you imagine the benefit of that? So, and when your phone, you misplace your phone, insurance will pay me back, right? The worth of the phone.
Yeah, when you misplace the phone,
And you provide the documents.
Yeah. Let's assume that you misplace the phone
Maybe at gone or one chance.
At gone or one chance, yeah. You'll be paid. The sum assured of that phone will be paid to you. And it's not just misplacement. If the phone falls from your hand, it will equally be paid.
And the screen broke.
You'll be paid.
Wow.
It's not just when someone steals it from you. No, now. It falls directly from your hand and the phone. Once it's not willful. You know, when you talk about why insurance companies are not why some claims are not being paid, I wanted to highlight this, but time could not allow us. When the damage is not willful, insurance companies will certainly pay you. So this, I think, people need to disabuse their minds from thinking that insurance company. There are factors. Once you meet the factor, insurance will pay you 100%.
So I just really want people to understand it, because when we talk about the need for people to secure their asset and all of that, it's very, very fundamental that people think about this. So on this episode, we've established why people don't pay insurance. We've established how and why you should probably subscribe to fire and burglary insurance, whether you are the owner of a house or you rent an apartment. But there is more to this. And I really want you to come back next week to watch the second episode of this session, where I will be talking with Mr. Frederick on things like education insurance, if you're doing life insurance, and how can you use insurance to even reduce the tax you pay in your office that they remove from your salary. I'm sure you want to hear that. So hit on the subscribe button, like, drop your comment, and I promise you next week I'll be back with the second episode. It's the Money Mindset with Razak. Hello, Your Excellency.